Hello everybody, this is just going to be showing off the kind of build that I've just got going on. This is just ramp, and then this is more just sort of something which is like a test kind of thing. So this is just showing off the mechanics of how the husks will react with this kind of build. So what's going to be happening is we've got this amplifier design where we only have the corners. Sort of places these kind of like thin pillars. Now I used to use things like this with archways, but now I try and use the thin pillars to try and not have aggro going onto them. And then we also use something like this up the top for the smashers. So this is like a smasher bridge, and they're going to be drawn to structures up here. So you see that they'll keep getting recycled up the top. You see they should get knocked off the edge. Come on. And they'll go down. And now that happened for the other ones that are just trying to come up here too. But the main point of this is this kind of design for the amp. So whereas we've got all these kind of archways, or you can use, well, nowadays it's not the arches, it's the thin walls covering the corners, they don't end up trying to despawn in it. It can still happen now. It used to not happen back in days of old, but this can still be done with this version. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be pathing all the way around to the back of the amp. Now the reason why they do this is because of the fact there is this thing on every single amplifier. So on every single amplifier there's one of these, and now this is like the monitor. So the monitor decides where the husk will try and aim to go towards, and which side. So you see there's a smash trying to get through as well. I'll have to go back up. But this is going to be deciding which side the husks are actually trying to despawn on the amplifier if there are structures on it. Let me just put some things over here. Hopefully they'll try and go to the freezy area on the other side. Now this is just something I'm trying to use for just the lobbers over here. Just trying to get them to... If I didn't have this stuff, they'd naturally try and go over there most of the time and stand there. So this is just to stop them from. We'll just get back with this. So when we're using these corner designs, this is going to stop them from despawning on those parts of the amps, and they're not structures that are then aggroed onto directly. And then once they've been thrown off the edge here, so they come round, once they get tossed off the edge, they come down here where I've built this kind of staircase. Now this staircase actually goes all the way back up to the top. So Smasher's following me. Hello Mr. Smasher. And this just means that I've done it right over the top of a geyser as well. So because I've done it over the top of the geyser, they actually just keep going round and round in circles because they're trying to get up this staircase, but they just can't make it. And so they keep getting recycled here. So if I was to just do this, you see they keep getting flung back. Now if they didn't land down there, so if they wanted to go back up through this tunnel instead, there is this other route where they can go back up the tunnel. Now if they're going to be going back up the tunnel, what you can do is you can put other recycling things in here, try and knock them back out. But what I do is, if we get all the way back to the top, now these are the structures which I use as other structures for like the smashers and the mini boss. You can see on some other videos, there's like some old videos where you make them go underneath. But you can also place the traps sort of around the back here and try and knock the husks that path up here over the edge. So it just means you can like put things like a couple of tar pits and wall launchers here and just knock them back over the edge again, just to recycle the ones that come in through the cave, and then just block off this sort of area here, and then it still allows your smashers to path up here for the valley wave, in which there's also the smasher bridge on valley wave to allow them to cycle round. Yeah, and this is basically there's the staircase. So staircase, they can go up and just has a quicker way to get back to the amplifier. Anyway, yeah. So I'll just let you have a close look at this again. Now the flingers and the lobbers will be quite difficult for this. I will be showing off how to sort of aggro shift, so that the AI actually targets other structures around the amp rather than actually trying to destroy the amp. So you can use that in turn with this kind of building. But yeah, I hope you like this, and well, yeah, I'll catch you guys around. So when I'm doing this anyways, something I use is this kind of little design, and this was really just to kind of help deal with the lobbers and flingers, and then just the anti-airs just to deal with the lobbers and flingers. Also used to have a design sort of similar to this where I'd actually build a kind of a box sort of shape. So this used to be something like a box, and they'd actually come round here, and the ones that are getting flung will land into this kind of box, which I'd turn into like kind of a jail cell right on the outside of the amplifier. So we'll close that one off, but if it is a window, you can stand on the amplifier in there and then chuck like decoys in there if you're a constructor. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you around. So hey everybody, this is just another round which I was doing on this amplifier wave. So this time I'm actually playing with the hero class you should be using, which is like a base hero. So for instance, I'm using base Carl just to try and make the structures extra stronger around the base. However, I have not put the base in the right place, so the structures down at the front, which are the non-aggro structures, can still be hit. So I will just be repositioning the base where the defender is. And what we're going to see is, for this build, which we've just seen, is that they'll path around the back. So when the husks are actually pathing around the back, they'll just get knocked off down into this area down below where the lava is. Now they will actually be landing on the platform down there, and then there is actually the geyser, which is what you can see to the right hand side, which is where they're constantly flinging up and down. And that's just going to recycle on the geyser. Now if we're standing up here, it's quite nice. I think I'm going to change it and make it so you can stand on top of the amplifier and put the base where the defender is, because then it will just mean that, well, the takers won't be able to grab you on later waves, and then you can just freely shoot all of the flingers or takers that are over in those areas. Yeah, you can just see them recycling up to the right hand side, and these ones that are also recycling back through the cave, which are coming up the hill. Now for any which get stuck on the top, I think I'm going to add wall launchers to the top there, and that'll knock the ones off that are on top if any, but they normally just jump off. But yeah, this is just another wave with using the base. Again, this was really just meant to be just a build showing off how the husks interact with this kind of sort of shape that you do on the amplifier, how you build these kind of structures in the way to stop them actually despawning on certain parts of the amp and forcing them around the back. However, this is kind of turned into an actual like accidental kind of build guide on an amplifier that I used to do something like this on Ridge Amplifier actually, which was like probably about a year ago now. But yeah, it was a pain in the ass because I actually lost that content when my hard drive got wiped. I've probably wiped my hard drive like 8 times, so just accidental losses, I suppose. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this. Really, it's just showing off how it works. I'll just show you. Hello everybody, today we're just going to be going over Hill Amplifier. Now if we just look at the tunnels, we'll see that there's hold the phone! I'm not using any tunnels. Now, yes, I'm not using any tunnels, alright? This is just a fun little build to show off how the Husk A.I mechanics work in accordance to the amplifier. Now, there's a very important thing on every amplifier that you must all pay attention to. So on every amp there is this little computer. Now this is the monitor, okay? The monitor is on every single amplifier around the base. So if I quickly just run around to every other one, we'll just quickly see. So this is Valley, it's round the back side, it's opposite the spawn. This Down here is lava. This is also away from the spawn. This is hill. This is also away from the spawn for the south side, however sideways for the west. This over here is bridge, and we'll see that the monitor is on this side of the amplifier, so the north side. We'll go down to pit. We'll see pit. The monitor is on the rear side again, towards where the spawn direction is. And we'll just go to devil. However, for devil, the actual monitor is on the north side of the amplifier. Okay, so it'll be a little more difficult to kind of do the same sort of thing for this. As well as it's also the same sort of way for ridge. Okay, so ridge, you also see that the monitor is also facing the spawn side. Now this will react with, not allow you to create the exact same methods. You'd have to do it, well, a little bit differently. You wouldn't be able to do it the same directions for the kind of different AIs. So for this build today, we will just ignore the ridge amp and devil amp. I'll kind of go over those separately. But if we just look at this, so here we're back at hill amp. Now hill amp, you'll notice that I've got these pillars. Okay, so these pillars are non-aggroable structures. So ages ago, I would use things like this, which would be archways. You might have seen I'd used to have sort of like lighthouse builds, where I'd use archways as the primary structure around it. Now these were to stop the smashers actually trying to target it. However, after recent patches, that actually made it so they can now aggro onto those structures. So instead now what we actually use is these thin walls. So these thin walls kind of allow you to divert the aggro, because they're not going to focus the aggro onto the thin walls. So they're like new archways. Now, for when we've also got this, we're using the inner corners. So instead of using archways in the inner corners, we've got thin walls. Now, these are going to stop the husks from despawning on the amp. So if we put them on every corner, I used to use them in my old builds where I'd just literally put 3 walls around the side. However, nowadays you do need these other ones, because it will help stop other ones from despawning them. So just make sure you've got these little corner walls in every side, apart from the side you've actually got this monitor. And for the monitor, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building these 3 walls around it. Now what it's going to end up looking like, if I just quickly do it over on here, is just basically just a box around the side where the monitor is. Now you can also cover this up the top as well and then just plonk a base on it. I've done this very simply before, where we've actually defended against a later wave. I think it was round 20 something, where I had boss and smashers, and all we did is just plonk a base on top of the actual area where the monitor was, and then just put wall punchers and tar pits around it, and it was just basically a stall build that kept them all away. And we just kind of build structures spawn facing to divert the aggro away. Now if we go over this, so that was basically what it's going to look like if you build it around the monitor. When husks pass through here, they're not going to be able to despawn, so they're going to be walking back towards this area to punch these walls to try and get through to this monitor here. But what we can do is we can turn this into some sort of stall build, so we can put the wall launchers and tars on the floors if you're just trying to knock them back, or we can use, in this scenario, we have this kind of ledge off the back. So for this scenario, what we're using for this build is I'm going to use sound walls and floor launchers all the way around this side, and then just for this side we're going to have a tar pit and a wall launcher. Now I've done this before with just like wall launchers on the side. I used to have, this used to be like a half floor, and all like this, and then I changed it to that, but this works much more successfully just having it like so. So having it like this has been more successful for me without kind of little dodgy like punching going on. So yeah, I'd recommend doing this. So all this is basically just thin walls, like I've just seen down there. Thin walls in every corner apart from the side the monitor's on, and then you're just going to trap it out. Now what I've got above this is we have ramps. So you'll see that I've just made ramps, so near the floor launcher area, ramps going up, and it's just to knock them round the back. So if I'll slowly stroll around it so you can see. So this is the west side of the amplifier ramp, and these are just to knock them that way. This part here, however, will be used for your base. I have got a defender pad here for now. It was just marking where I would put the base, and then this would basically keep everything buffed up in here to keep your structure strong. Then what I was doing is just putting anti-air traps and using flats, because they're also non-aggrable structures, so they won't just be trying to like wreck the absolute thing. However, we will still get like lobbers, flingers trying to lob at this area. So these things are just trying to destroy any lobbables, but the flinger trash will still end up here. So something you can do is also put something like wall launchers on the top here, just to knock any ones that want to stay up and punch. However, most of the time they will just drop off these sides to try and get down to this area so they can get to the monitor, or try and punch through so they can also get down to the ground to the monitor. Now what we're also going to be doing on this build is using a smasher bridge. So the smasher bridge is basically where I'm diverting the aggro of the smashers above the actual amplifier by using these sort of structures above it. And what we're going to be doing in here is we've just got these corner walls above the amplifier, which you'll notice are the third structure up in the diagonal sort of corners of here, as well as then on top of the amp. You can even do it where you've got like these walls here if you wanted to make it kind of closer, so you can actually put the walls around this area as well. But for now, mine's just to the right by one, as you can see, just above this area where I'm installing them. And then I've just loaded like anti-airs here. I might mess around and actually change the positioning of the anti-airs, just because it might actually make it a little easier for me to get in and out to be able to place my base. So I might do something like just break open this floor area and have it so I can just easily get down to chuck my base. So basically, yeah, this isn't finalized how I want the structure design to work. Something I'm also wondering about is changing it like this and having the walls up here instead, because this will then mean that you'll then be fine from the takers, and then you can just stand on the amplifier and it will be like a lighthouse build again, where they then can't take you. However, you will need to get rid of all these kind of flaws at the edges, and then put the flaws in the diagonals, so that then they won't end up sort of being able to phase through the walls, which are the takers. So this floor would be bad. This floor at the side will also be bad. Any up on the side would be bad. But something you can do is lower them and place them down one lower in this area, and then the takers won't be able to phase through and get you. However, you do pose problems when you do that for them actually getting through. So yeah, this is just what I'm at currently. But this still works pretty well. Otherwise, what you can do is with the sides, you can literally just half edit them if you wanted, or ramp them at the edges, so that the takers won't then bust your ass and basically slap you on top of the amp, which then means you're dead, you're out, and it's just awkward. It's nicer to stay up so you can shoot stuff. And yeah, if you wanted to be able to see through, to be able to shoot flingers and stuff, you can just stand on amp and you can shoot down here and be able to use rockets to actually kill everything. And yeah, so that would just mean that you can shoot the stuff out around the amp. Now, yeah, so we'll just... I don't know if I've covered everything there. I think I have. Like, that's kind of it, really. I forgot. Oh, and then for this is basically just when they get flung, they're going to get flung over here, and they're going to get knocked down. Once they get knocked down, they're going to want to come up this sort of stairway because I've given them a really nice, easy path to get back. So they're going to come up this stairway to try and get back to the amp, to get to the monitor side, but they're passing over a geyser, so this will keep recycling them. I can do it a little bit differently if I want, like have this here and then maybe put like have a wall there or something, so you can, then they won't come up here. But for now I just made it just simple. I will be changing this up just a little bit. I'm just trying to cut structures on this at the minute, so this will just keep knocking them back that way, kind of keep shoving them in around here. However, if they do get through, yeah, they're just going to come up through this cave area. Now, with the mini-bosses are just, honestly, they're just dumb. Okay, so you need to have all these corner walls in here, and you can just sit on top of the amp or kind of stand up here. Providing that they're not like teleporters, otherwise you're going to have to put some other stuff in. I mean, the teleporters, if you do this bit over here, I'll try and calculate the positioning of these right, but the teleporters might be teleporting somewhere up here, otherwise they should just run up here if they want to go for it. Otherwise the mini boss will actually just stand down the bottom of the actual amplifier, thinking they can actually target structures up around the amp, which are like right up here, so he'll think he can go for these ones if you're going to be using these walls up, which are third height around the amplifier, if you're going to be using like the lighthouse build for the takers. And then they'll just stand down here and just kind of be stupid and not do anything really. So yeah, that's kind of it. This is mostly just something of how to actually control the husks around the amplifier rather than covering anything else. This has kind of turned into an accidental build for this that I didn't really intend to make a build. I was just trying to show off this, but I thought, hey, heck, I'll have some fun with it. And this is similar to something I was trying to do on Ridge. However, if you want to look out for the jail build, I'm probably going to try and redo an old build which was a jail build for an amplifier, where I actually try and toss them on top and you stun them all in the top of the amplifier, and it's built on a lighthouse as well, so you're not going to get taken. So if you want to see that, just keep an eye out for that video. I'll be publishing that up kind of soon, hopefully in the next week. Otherwise, I hope I got everything, all the information you need in this to be able to do it. Terribly sorry if I haven't, please let me know. These were basically just here to stop like flingers and lobbers and stuff. Otherwise, if you've got like plenty of base, it's really going to help having like, if you've got like 3 different bases you want to use, well really you want to use a power base with base and support, and base with power base and support, just to double up on the sort of the wall health and the healing. And yeah, I'll catch you guys around. See ya.